does that solve, and what problems does that create?
Yeah.
So the problem it solves is that you may have some of the key people who are burned out, who are instrumental in making the work environment toxic, having them out, so that there's an opportunity to have a different type of work environment. But what you've also created is that huge gap that's very difficult to fill because those people are
Yeah, I understand. I can tell you that in Casey's mind, and I've had this conversation with Casey, where she took credit for something where it's not exactly the way I recalled it. But that's fine. My recollection is not the same as Casey's. But she makes it sound like the house will fall apart without her.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in that conversation. And in reality, the house was perfectly fine when she was gone for 18 months. And I was there. Right?
Was it different when she was gone for 18 months? What was the environment like then? Was it different then?
It was more positive. People were willing to do stuff. When I came back, I was blunt. When I came back from my break, that now I expect all staff to be involved, all primaries to be involved in all doctor's appointments, stuff like that. It doesn't just migrate to Casey. Oh, okay. I'm in the garage, so my wife was just throwing something out. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
So it doesn't just migrate to Casey. Part of it is to relieve Casey. Part of it was because what was happening was the house was being too dependent on one staff for all the medical needs. And that was partly due to my fault because I didn't see it right away. I saw it when I got back. Again, sometimes you just need to rip the Band-Aid. And when Casey was gone, the house was fine. I know of one staff that transferred out because Casey was coming back and they didn't want to work with Casey. I found that out through the grapevine
right.
about a year and a half later, because I always thought he transferred out because of me. He said, no, it wasn't you, it was Casey. So.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
I know Chris Driscoll, before Casey came back, transferred out, and then got bumped out of his position, so he came back to K2. So.
Right. So it does seem to be coming back. We can put a sort of asterisk next to Casey's name in the sense that a lot of the conversation seems to come back to her for a number of reasons. It's an asterisk. It's not a target. It's just a person of concern, of interest.
Yeah.
Are there other people there? You mentioned Kathleen and Chris that they may be burned out and they may be, they and the house may benefit from a change of scenery.
They may. But again, if it's deemed that Casey needs to move, then the atmosphere changes.
Right.
Right?
Is she the kingpin, for lack of a better term?
To answer your question, okay, she the kingpin, I can't answer that. But there was a documentation that came in that addressed Casey from the FACT team, which is another dual diagnosis team. That's part of a couple of the individuals of support, where it actually stated to the manager of the house, Casey, heart rate.
As a problem.
No, 100%. Casey was a mistake. Okay. So I chalked it up as a mistake. I never really got into it with Casey. Just chalked it up because I never saw another document like that. But then I got the email from Bergen Walsh, which is the other dual diagnosis. Can you get Casey to call me? When I've told Bergen Walsh you can call the house and speak to any staff. I'm not Casey's secretary. So is she a kingpin? I think she's a motivator of in the house. But again, when I'm there, she acts like I'm her best friend. And I've had Jody tell me point blank that she has told people that her and I are friends. And Jody goes, I know better. Because I try to treat everyone the same, as best as I can. I've also had other staff tell me that it does undermine me, which I did address in my last check-in with her back in February, where there was a specific instance where I'll say something and she doesn't care. She'll just do it. There was an inquiry between her and Lindsay because Lindsay took a picture of her on her phone, and Lindsay was a catalyst for the whole harassment thing with Misha. And so I did inquiry because no one came forward. Chris Driscoll brought it forward. So I decided to do inquiry. And she said that she didn't care by the fact that I said no cell phones on the main floor. And so I'm like, okay. So that kind of attitude gets transpired to the staff, right? Where instead of, and again, it's presentation. Instead of just shrugging your shoulders and say, I don't care, Andre never comes in on the weekend. That's what Lindsay said, she said. Andre never comes in on a weekend. And she's not wrong. Instead of shrugging it off, just say, you know what? Everyone's in bed. I'll talk to Andre on Monday, which shows respect. Doesn't. That's what she does. So yeah, there are stuff I hear that people do come forward. And so then I do the inquiry and then I hope for the best, you know? And again, Casey wasn't wrong because if everyone's in bed, I don't care if you're on the phone at 9:00 at night. You know, I'm sitting in the living room. I don't. Everyone's in bed. It's quiet. There's no client care. But, you know, so that does transpire. So you got the two doctors and you got stuff like that. There was another place where I was, incident where I was advocating for an individual's choice to eat wherever he wants in the house. It's his right. We have this little tea room with a window. And at the end, the team decided to allow this individual to eat in that tea room by himself with staff looking in the window because it's like a fishbowl kind of thing, looking in the window, checking on him every couple minutes, making sure that he's not choking, whatnot. We were following his feeding protocol. And then I found out that Casey didn't give a crap and wasn't doing it. And this is after a team decided as a whole with me approving it, putting my rubber stamp on it. Right? There's another incident where David Kennedy has a feeding protocol. A staff brings out the feeding protocol and shows me something that it was only a 2-week trial period, but had been going on for 2 years. And so I canceled it. And that didn't go well with Casey because all I said was just need to get another swallowing assessment. The swallowing assessment is only for a 2-week trial period, you know. But it was Casey that in the background, it kept telling me, yeah, we have a swallowing assessment. It's all fine. But then when another staff highlighted it. So that's the stuff that I guess is coming back to my mind. So I do apologize if I didn't bring this forward before. But it's little things like that where I do address some of it. And some of it I just, you know, it disappears again kind of thing. Anyways.
Sir, can you talk about what the inquiries are? Because you refer to what's the process for an inquiry?
Okay. If there's an inquiry that I feel I need more information, I don't like the term inquiry because it gets everyone's back up. Right? But if there's an inquiry where I get people's information, I feel that I need more information. Sometimes it depends on the situation. For example, with Casey and Lindsay with the phone call, Lindsay taking the picture of the phone. I had just had a conversation with Lindsay about using your phone and breaking privacy and confidentiality of your